tonight. Is that right? And David, perfect. Brilliant. Well, welcome everyone to our all team training. This happens every week from 6:45 to 7:30. And then pre that is our onboarding and training. And then after is our presentation opportunity meeting. So I want to encourage you, even through this, if you get inspired with anybody that you think, oh, I need to bring to the opportunity meeting, where we present the opportunity and then basically refer them back to you. And I encourage you to be texting people and saying, hey, this is happening. Why don't you jump on if you're curious? Because you just never know, people that after just hearing that presentation might be ready to be a part of it, and which is exciting. So great to have you all here. We're in 5 weeks of really sharing on basically sharing and selling this product. Sales at the end of the day is all about finding someone who has a need when you have a solution. And so I'm just double checking that. What's the code to get in? Okay, is there a code to get in this? I'm just going to send it again. Sorry, that was for somebody. That I want to take away, even as we share around our stories around this and different people, some that are brand new that have been here for doing this for only a couple of weeks and doing really well. And then those of us that have been doing this for a while. Vanessa and I, this is our 9th month of building this business. So we're still newbies in a lot of ways with this as well. And so I'll encourage everyone with that. But yeah, when it comes to sharing and even sales, that word sales, I know it gets a bad rap, but all it is someone who's got a problem with someone who's got a solution, and to help with that problem. And that's what we're doing. People have got health challenges. People have got financial challenges. And we have a solution for both through this incredible technology. And so I'm going to ask you a question. And I've got Joanne on here. If you want to give us a wave, so people know who you are, Joanne. We have Ange and David. Can you give us a wave? We have Leah here. I'm going to be, you guys are all going to be part of the questions tonight. Michelle, I think, isn't well at the moment, so she's just going to be listening, but she's one of our directors. Or if you want to jump into answering a question, you let me know. I have Ray and Pamela on here who are new to the business, but really running fast with this. So I might even ask some of them questions on about their success and how they're going with this. And so again, the next 5 weeks, we're going to be talking on how do we share this? How do we help people to understand the technology? How to deal with rejection? How to deal with being too much or too little around nurturing people. And so my first question is this, and I'm going to ask Dave and Ange, why don't you guys answer this one first? And I'm looking for it because it was a really good one.
We're ready. Ask away.
I'm just looking for I've got 20 questions in front of me, and I had a really good one to start, and now I'm trying to find it. What do you do when someone expresses doubt or skepticism about the X39 technology? How do you handle objections? And before they answer that, could you write in the chat if you've found that with some of what you've been doing? Have you had many people that have either been skeptical about it or expressed doubt, just to see how many people out there have had this barrier when talking to people? Why don't you put that in the chat? Dave and Ange, could you answer that for us?
Well, it's funny because I just spent a weekend with a whole lot of different people in, we all have different friend groups in our lives, and it's a big friend group through the kids. And it's interesting when you talk about the patches or new technology or however you talk about it with people, there's people who lean in and there are people who don't lean in, i.e. they lean out as sometimes. And I'm finding that the people who don't lean in wouldn't even ask the question as to let me believe that they're skeptical or they don't believe. Yeah. The ones who completely it doesn't resonate with, literally, it's like you've told them about this amazing new technology which is changing the world, and then they want to go on ahead and talk about the weather or the hamburger that they just had for lunch. So they're the people that you, I guess, put aside for later on. You don't invest your really good high quality energy and time with. But the ones who are, they're doubting it, or they want to know more, and how does it work, et cetera, well, they're people who I believe are worth spending time with, because they've leaned in a little bit. At least they've begun to try and understand the technology. Otherwise, they wouldn't be questioning it. So it gives us the opportunity to share testimonials, either our own testimonials, or people that we know, or we can start to send them information and finding out what their, I guess their focus of interest, if that's the right way of putting it, would be. For some people, it's all about not believing that it can't possibly be transdermal. Yeah, I've heard people say, oh, they must have little tiny needles in there and it's putting some drug in you or something like that. So it's fabulous to be able to send them to the right link, which can explain it to them. For other people, it's, I want to know all about how a copper peptide works. And as you know, we've got that information. So I guess it's about asking the right questions so that we can then send them to the right space.
Right. What about you, Ange? Anything to add with that?
Yeah, I come across probably as a percentage 80-20, 80% lean in and 20% think that I'm, some sort of charlatan, and that's okay too. So I kind of feel like that's okay, 80-20.
Click your video so you're not showing, you're eating.
Sorry,
So
if you could,
off.
yeah, if I could put theirs on silent and get us.
We can see you eating. Just click video.
All good.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, so look, at the end of the day, I'm just sending them love if they're not ready for it, if it's not their time, if they want to stay in their pain body, that's fine. And if they say to me, I just want to try it for a week, I just say, please, guys, this is not a week thing. Let's say they're 60. It's taken you 60 years and you think you're going to get a miracle experience in 7 days. That's sort of my take on things.
No, it's really good. Thank you for sharing, you guys. What about you, Leah? How have you found sharing this? Because how long now have you been sharing X39?
I've been sharing I came in with Ange, so like the next day or something, the day after. So I think it's been like 5 months. Yeah, and so I've obviously taken a slower approach than Ange. I'm living in a new place way up north in far north Queensland. My network is mostly down in Sydney, and I've planted lots and lots of seeds, and but yes, the people that I've brought in really do love it, and people are very intrigued. The only kind of people that really think it's kind of crazy are people like my dad, who are so indoctrinated into all the systems, the current medical system, and the news and the government and all the things. I won't go down that rabbit hole, but yeah, he was somebody who suggested that I'm into propaganda, which was kind of hysterical, given his world with political news all day and on the radio and the newspaper and the TV, and I love my dad. We're just very different people, but when somebody comes to me like that, for me, I'm not going to let it upset me. I know how amazing this technology is, and if those style of people are not ready to receive the beauty of what this product is, what it has to offer, then that's fine. I think people may believe it's too good to be true, because it just seems too easy that you would put a patch on and you would find all this amazing healing in it, because I think people also lose faith in how amazing their bodies are if they just get out of the road and let the body do its own healing. So much can just come from that alone. So I don't get disheartened. if I feel like somebody is just like a complete no, I just move on. And the ones who are intrigued, I'll share links with them. I'll share testimonies, my own testimonies, my family, the people I've enrolled, and you'll know who are the right ones. I haven't been doing the things that you guys have done in terms of, market stalls and getting to know strangers in that sense. So that's something that I'm, intrigued to dive into in the future. But for me, yeah, it's just sharing what is working, and you'll know the people that you align with.
No, I love that. Actually, there's something I got from that, which I'm going to say in a minute. I think it's something worth writing down. But even before I say that, with family, sometimes can be the hardest ones for whatever reason. And so I would actually, before I go to Joanne on that question, so I'm going to ask you to prep you in advance. What do you do to nurture family that are skeptical? So that's going to be my question I'm going to ask you in a minute, Joanne, if you don't mind. But Leah, you said a great statement that I actually think is worth writing down. You said some people have given up. I'm not going to get it right. You said it so much more eloquently, but given up faith in their bodies. I think that's a great statement to ask people. Like, I'm stealing that. When somebody is lacking a bit of hope, I'm going to use that as, I always think of like playing cards up my sleeve when I'm talking to people. Which card am I going to bring out? A statement, a question to get them to think or get them to take another approach. And I love that, to be able to say to someone, hey, have you given up faith in your body that it can heal itself?
Yeah,
That's a great question.
the body's ability to heal. Like, it's scary. A friend was telling me that their father takes a certain drug to mitigate what's going on in his body, and then he takes another 11 pills for each one of the side effects that the other pill has given them. So he took initially in one pill to stop the side effects of the first pill, then he's got to take another pill to stop the side effects of that pill, and so now he's up to like 11 pills a day. But people are happy to do that and scared to put a patch on their body. Like, what? It's insane. Like, this is what I mean. They've just lost the whole idea that the body can heal itself. That's where
Exactly.
the master machines, and all this little patch is doing is waking the system back up again, and it's our faith in that ability is what's going to drive it even more.
Totally. And again, I always want people to know I'm not anti-doctors. I'm not anti, medics. I thank God for so many of them. There are so many great people involved, but the system I have some issues with. So exactly what you're saying. So I think that's a great statement for you to write down when you're somebody to ask them, have you lost faith in that your body can heal itself? And that could just take you somewhere you want it to go. So thank you for sharing, Leah. That's brilliant. Joanne, I'd love to ask you, have you had any experience with some skepticism with family? And how have you, you run a big faith-based charity as well. And so I'm sure there's been some of that even in what you've done in that area. How do you deal with people you love being skeptical around, something like this?
Andrew, I think you've really got to look at it like anything else. Like, if you had a product and you were selling it from a shop front, not everyone's going to come into that shop. They're going to wander through, they're going to look at the product. Not everyone's going to buy it. Not everyone's going to look at it and think this is amazing. And you've got to kind of have that attitude, even with what we're doing. We know the results of it. And I think those that are closest to us, they're the ones that are actually, they know us very well. So they may not at first respond to it. But my reaction to that is, look, there may be a time in the future where you feel like this may be able to help you. I'd love to talk to you if that happens, or something like that. I'll just say to them. But then I let them just see the results. And often when they're looking at those results and they're asking me all the time, is particularly about my husband, Rob, how's he doing? And so, as I continue to share that story, that then becomes, that then becomes the I think the foundation from which they will eventually lean in. I don't ever take it as a negative, because at the end of the day, there is always going to be those, whether they're your family or whether they're those that you meet in the street or their acquaintances or friends that you've known for a long time. And there may be different reasons why they don't lean in. Sometimes it's not even the product. Sometimes they get to the place of where they see that it is direct selling, and that can be then a problem for them. And often, and I've had that happen. They've lent into the product. And then when you get to that part of how you purchase the product, but then I'll say to them, look, how many other online shops do you actually frequent? How many times are you on your phone where you're making an order and you've signed up for a subscription with them? This actually is no different to that. And kind of really helping them to understand that this is not something that, if you don't want to do the business, what I'm here to tell you is that this technology is going to be something that will absolutely change your health conditions. Your body's going to respond to it, and you're going to be in a much better position health-wise if you decide to take the product. Look, I am really, I guess, one of those ones that say, if they don't respond immediately, I'm of that opinion that they circle back to them at a later date, because there will always be some health challenge somewhere along the line where they're going to actually remember that technology that you shared with them. And so I think the biggest thing is that you have to have belief in yourself. I think that each one of us here have got so much belief in the product, and we've got so much belief in the business, the compensation plan. But I think that sometimes I'm talking from myself, and I think that it may be that for many others, is that we often have that lack of belief in ourselves to be able to share that product in a way that others are going to be drawn to us. And I think that, sometimes I have been that one that's gone with almost an apologetic attitude, which, people will pick up immediately. But, I've really changed that up. Like, I'm passionate about it. This is something that's absolutely changed our lives, and I want to share it with you because it can change yours as well.
Ah, brilliant. I love that. Put in the chat if there's something you learned from that. Why don't you write that in the chat, because it helps us to remember. I'm going to swing to Linda in a moment, who's in New Zealand. But before I do, because she's doing a cracking job over in NZ, I want to ask Dr. Steph, who I just saw her name come up. As a medical practitioner, when somebody asks you that question, is skeptical, and even coming from that background, I don't know if you're there, if you are comfortable to be able to respond.
I am. Awesome.
I'd love to hear what you say.
I'm here. Okay, ask me the question again. Sorry, because I was typing on a patient report.
Okay, so if someone's skeptical or doubting this technology and what it can do, almost seems too good, to be true. You're a medical practitioner. How do you approach that with their skepticism?
I choose my audience, so I choose my response depending on my audience. So if it's someone that can take a blunt comeback, and I don't pull punches, it's like, well, obviously what you've been doing has gotten you to where you are and you're not happy. So why are you not open to trying something else? And it's usually, so when you ask that, you ask it in an empathetic way, you will get more of a response now, because they're going to start to feel being heard. So never ever take someone's no or their rebuttal personally. See if there's a way that you can open it up to be an ear, because more often than not, they're jaded, just like we've been jaded, and they really just want someone to hear them out. So that's been a really good approach, and I probably get 3 yeses out of 10. So there's 7. That's a high number. I'm not your 80-20. But then there's the other way that I'm doing this, and that is the skepticism. I actually do the feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. I felt the same, but this is what I found. and you tie that back to them personally. So know your audience. How do you get to know someone you don't know? Like if you're at a stall or something like that, ask the open-ended questions initially. What do you do? Is it something you see yourself doing for a long time? That must be tiring. Do you get time with the family? You're not on the products, you're not on the business, you're on them. So feel, felt, found.
I love that. Really good. Thank you for that, Dr. Steph. I want to throw it to Linda. You're in New Zealand and you're going for it over there. I'm just going to give you whatever question you want to answer. But the question basically I want to ask is, what's working for you? You'll have to come off mute. Sorry. Yeah, I do it all the
Yes.
time.
Well, every day I reaffirm my belief in what I'm doing, and why I'm doing it. And I just believe that every day the right people are going to come across my path. I don't try to get too anxious about what I'm doing today and how much I'm achieving. Because I'm also doing a lot of other family things and our other business as well. So I just give my day to the Lord basically, and I just say, right. So tonight we've had a heap around our table for dinner. Some lovely folk from our church life from the North Island, and it just come out that one of the guys, his wife fell and slipped on a concrete path and got quite bad concussion. And of course, I love the story about your own daughter, Andrew. She had concussion, didn't she? And
You did.
so we were sharing around the table, and everyone was sharing. I'd asked them all questions about their journey, because they were actually at a Bible school up in Hamilton, and they're doing some field work down here in the South Island. So we went all around the table. There was about 10 of us, and we all shared about our life and da-da-da. And that's when it come out about this man's wife. And I said to him, just before you go tonight, I've got something to tell you. It's something to share with you that could help with her concussion. And so then we just carried on around. And then he just gave me his numbers before they left. And yeah, and I also have someone who's in my network in Hamilton who will help with with this couple. So I just go with at first I was kind of anxious about trying to rank and get up, and because I feel like I've been manager far too long, but it's meant to be like this, and I'll be director very soon, I think. And how it's happening is just very organic, without stress, just trusting, and and just believing, being very bold about the product and very bold about the business. And I just say there's 3 ways you can go. You can just use the product and get the benefit, or you can do the business. That was one end, is just use the product. The other end is see it as a business, and that's what I'm definitely doing. I'm incorporating both of those. But there's a middle way. You can just do enough to share this product to pay for your product and get it free. So you can go 1 or 2 or 3. And I just believe if you can do number 2, you can carry on and do number 3, and you probably will.
Yeah.
So it's just like that for me. And I just think, look, I kind of set some goals at the start too, because there was kind of a bit of a race going on there for a start. And then I thought, hang on a minute, I've got to get off this race and do my race, not race, I'm just doing it my way. And it's working. It's just very organic, and it's just people are just coming out of the woodwork. Yeah.
Love that. Love
Mm.
that. Thank you for sharing. And I do want to remind people, like what you're saying, you can go as fast or as slow as you like. It's your business.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
as we're taught by our SPD, Tessa, it's a 36-month race. It's
Yeah.
not a 3-month. It's not a 6-month. It's not even a 12-month. You got to think 3 years.
Yeah.
Because I've watched some people
Yeah.
drop out within a month, and I'm like, seriously, you're only just getting started. This takes time, and you'll have different
Yeah.
months, weeks that'll be different from others. But
Yeah.
and that momentum when it starts to kick in, you know, that could take 6 months, a year, 18 months, but when it does, it's going to be so worth it.
Yeah.
So
I was really encouraged by the message from the girl from Romania last week that I don't know if anyone's seen it, but it was a video of a girl in Romania who got into the business, and it took her a year to even get to manager. She had so much going against her, a poor country. She didn't have the money to you know, she just put all the money that she had to get to conferences, which were in some other country in Europe. And she just, it was not like this, you know. Sometimes I do love Steve Merritt and Gina, and I love their style. It's fun. But, you know, and you hear about people going to SPT in 2 weeks, and I'm going, hang on, I can't do that. It's not going to work like that for me. So you just have to say, when I heard her story, it was so encouraging. I thought, I can do this, and I will do this.
I love that. And you will, 100% you will. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
you got it.
So
for
you don't lose yourself getting there, because you can easily lose yourself. You can put it, just life can get very unbalanced if you don't go the way that you're meant to go. We're all
Yeah.
going to have a journey and a way to do this, and we've all got different family setups, and we've all got different situations in our life, and you just have to keep at peace with yourself, and that is a great testimony in itself, and that will attract people.
I love that, because it's true, because everyone's looking to locate themselves in others. Like, okay, they're in a similar situation, they did it. Okay, they went a little bit slower, but so can I. They went fast, so that's why we love, and we have over 800 on our team now, and everyone is so different. And to me,
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said the wealth of life is your relationships. And for me, I have such different personalities of friendships. I don't just have the same personality as all my friends. So it makes it interesting. That's what makes life interesting. And we have that represented here. So thank you for that. We've only got about just probably 10 minutes left. What I'd love to do next is allow you to ask questions. So we have a bunch of us here, and to be able to do our best to answer any questions that you have. If we don't have any, I'll switch to one more before we leave. But if you have questions, why don't I saw a Chrysalin. Is that how I say your name? Chrysalin? Yep, you put your finger up like that, so I'm like, okay, I saw you. What's your question?
Well, I'm in that kind of age bracket where, like, I'm 33. I'm in that kind of age bracket where not a lot of the people around me are yet to be able to afford something like this. And then I have people who can afford something like this, but they're extremely skeptical. You know, just like everything's so fast paced now, people will just want to see, you know, results right there and then. And I've had some amazing results just on my first week on this. Like, I could go into it, but I'm not. But you guys understand. Like, I'm going out places. I've kind of just rediscovered myself. I'm starting to, you know, just become this person that I've always wanted to be. I'm not feeling anxiety anymore. I'm not feeling pain. I'm losing cysts, and my wounds are healing, and it's wild. And I've had a few people you know, asked me the question, and I've given them, you know, my testimony, and I've said, you know, this has happened in just a week. Can you imagine what it's going to be like in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months, a year? And, you know, I'm saying to them, like, if you guys don't jump on this, like, someone else will. And the success that, you know, that you wish you had is going to be, you know, the world's just going to keep going. You know what I mean? So I guess, like, how can I, as someone in my age bracket, kind of like share my journey, but also not come across, I don't want to come across pushy, because, you know, I've been part of different businesses in the past, and, you know, it's been very pushy, and this is not giving that at all, and I'm like really grateful for that. But I just want to know, like, do I just straight up put my testimony online? Like, I feel very led to do that. But I also, like, my family, for one, have been the most critiquing of me, and that's been a little bit disheartening. So I'm just kind of a little bit stuck on what I should share, and, you know, how I can kind of move up in the best way that I can, while staying true to myself as well.
Yeah, it's such a great question. I'd love to answer first if I can, because I've got some thoughts, and then maybe David and Ange could. I think number one, your testimony is your greatest credibility, because it's your story. No one else can take that away from you. So people can say things about it. They could say you're delusional, whatever. I say to people, hey, even if this was a placebo, it's changing my life so much. I'm off my sleep apnea machine. My blood platelet numbers are going down. I'm sleeping through the night like I haven't in 15 years. I absolutely don't believe it's a placebo, because it's happening to too many people. But even if it was, for the price of a coffee a day, I'm all in. But the approach that I've taken is, I am so busy and so excited about this, and it's changing so many lives. If you're not interested, I'm fine with that. Here's my number, call me when you are. Because I find when you do the opposite than what they think you're going to do, which is try to push them into it and convince them into it, if you do the opposite, all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, she's gone. Maybe I should ask more questions about that. So I use the analogy of restaurants. The restaurants that are full are the ones that I'll line up at. The restaurants that are empty are the ones I won't go to. So that's how I've approached the one-on-one elements. Then with sharing this, we've done some training. We'll do more on what the opportunities are there, on how to do that one-on-one. But honestly, your testimony, what you just shared then, it's powerful. Like, it had me. I'm like, that, I love that. Like that, putting that on social media to say, hey, and especially your generation. I've got 4 Gen Zs in my house. I'm assuming you're either a millennial or the start millennial.
Thank goodness.
Everything is vulnerability and sharing, and I think even just the model of direct selling and is so geared to your generation. To get on there and just go, hey, I'm just going to share my story of something that's happened that's changing my life, and if it's something you're interested or curious about, DM me, because I'd love to talk to you about it. And get on and share what you just shared. And honestly, if people are rude or like family skeptical about it, it's like anything, you just got to let them do their journey, but you're there to help other people. And I like to think kind people will see your story and go, like, especially your generation, and be like one or two of my daughters or more, they've shared they've had some mental health challenges. This has really helped them with that. And it's an epidemic. It's an epidemic in every generation, but I think millennials are the ones that really actually probably broke it open. So that would be my suggestion, is be authentically you in what you want to do, and share online with that.
Okay, sounds good.
And David, maybe you have some thoughts around that.
Yeah, Dave wants to say something.
Just quickly, I know Angie's got some thoughts, but I guess what I would suggest is, as we heard from Joanne earlier in the evening, is that sometimes our biggest skeptics and the ones that are just going to put up those cement walls for us are going to be those who are closest to us, and especially our family members. when this first started, and I had my ding moment with the patches, because I was very skeptical, but when they worked on me, and when my body responded the way it did, I was wanting to tell everybody about it. But definitely the ones who are closest to us are going to be the hardest ones to get your story through, whether they think it's placebo, whether they think it's rubbish, who I don't know what's going on in their heads, but they're hard to get through. I think what Andrew said is dead true. Share your story. Yeah. And as Leah said, or intimated earlier this evening, your vibe is going to attract your tribe. Yeah. And just be confident that you're amazing and you found a technology which is going to change your life, and anyone that will listen, you'll be able to help change their life as well.
And adding to everything the boys have said is spot on. And I met you a couple of weeks ago on Zoom, and I've got to say you're bursting through the screen. So you are the brand right now, and they will see it. That someone wrote their FOMO. Yeah, they're gonna have a fear of missing out because you're on something good. So keep smiling, beautiful girl, and don't lose heart. And we'll go to Ray's been putting up her hand for ages. So go ahead, just unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm new to this, but I've got a lot of experience in previous sales. It's all a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the more successful you will be. It's as simple as that. And keep it simple.
I love it.
Don't get too technical.
And you're just one after the other at the moment. So
yeah, I've got a few lined up. They haven't come in yet, but yeah, I'm lining them up. Yeah.
So good.
It's very simple. It's the easiest thing that I've ever done.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The more people you talk to, the more you're going to get.
Yeah. Honestly, short and sweet, Ray, but that was brilliant. It's a numbers game. And I do, because we're going to probably finish in a minute, but honestly, don't get caught up in the no, get excited about the yeses. And the more people you speak to, what I say to people is, if you have a dog or whatever, just keep getting out. Just Vanessa and I, we just keep getting out. We just keep meeting people, talking to people. Had an AC guy here, and I patched him, because he's got challenges. It's just taking every opportunity. So the opportunity meeting is going to start in 2 or 3 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it back over to David and Ange. Thank you for everyone who participated in that. Can you give me a high five if that was helpful tonight? We're going to continue this over the next 3 weeks as we learn from each other and bring specific questions. We do have our WhatsApp. We do have our Facebook membership and our other one you can ask questions with, and someone can answer those for you. So don't ever feel like you're on your own. We have those platforms, and just keep getting out there. There is a millennial Zoom that's happening every week. And so I've sent that in our apps and stuff, so you can watch the replay and then send your millennials there. My suggestion was to just keep it millennials so they have a safe space to be them and not have us older ones feeling like we're controlling that. So I have asked, please don't be a part of that. If you're not a part of that age group, if you're a Gen Z or a millennial, you're invited. You can watch the replays afterwards if you like, because we want to create a movement where they own that space. So that's all on there. So thanks, everybody. Handing it over to David and Andrew, going to be in the opportunity meeting. Please bring people to it if you have people curious, and let's keep patching people. Thanks, everybody.